Hello everyone, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome to another God of War update video, with us quite literally a month away from the twilight end of the gods. Quite a bit has been going on this week, behind the scenes at Santa Monica Studios. This includes the likes of the game going gold, as well as some newly released information regarding the length of the story mode of Ragnarok. So this will give us a rough idea of just how much playtime we will be spending with Kratos and Atreus on their siege against Asgard. But before we jump into the finer detail of things, as always everyone, I would super appreciate it if we could get this video to about 1,000 likes. It's a small thing, mind you, but it really does go a very long way. Not just for this video, but for this channel out as a whole. Anyway, let's get right to it. Now onto the nitty gritty and most important details. God of War Ragnarok, as of October the 7th, 2022, has finally gone gold at Santa Monica Studios. Now if you are unfamiliar with what that term actually means, it in short means that the game is finished, ready to go, and has officially been put on discs. So Ragnarok is finally set to release, and will not be delayed, as many false outlets have actually said. So it looks like we definitely are hitting that fourth quarter release date. But the most important news to have really emerged from this week that's grabbed everyone's attention is the play length of this game, estimating at roughly 40 hours, including that of side quests. It looks like Ragnarok will be a very dense and very compact game, with probably about 20 of those hours being allocated to that of the main story, a significant portion belonging to that of cutscenes, and the rest is more than likely allocated to side quests. Now mind you, this is more of a rumor than it is something solid in stone, so we currently do not know just how true these words are. But if we are to compare Ragnarok to its 2018 installment, that game was about 30 to 35 hours long, with the main story being about 15 hours long, and the rest of that time being given to side quests. So the big question right now, when it comes to God of War Ragnarok, is whether or not this is enough time for a AAA game, as it is a part of the open world genre. Well, I'm going to give my own personal opinion here that I feel is quite fair when it comes to talking about this genre of games. Personally, I think that 40 hours of gameplay is more than enough for an open world story mode experience. You see, one of the big problems when it comes to this genre specifically is a game kind of overstaying its welcome, and if I were to compare it to a game series, I would have to unfortunately mention the Assassin's Creed games. Whilst I don't think they are bad at all, as I think there's a lot to enjoy about them, and there seems to be kind of a game for everyone. Of course, I like Odyssey the most. What makes those games quite jarring to play is just how overwhelmingly large the maps of those games are. Because I believe that the Ubisoft game design philosophy is bigger equals better. But that doesn't necessarily make a game good. If you are traversing barren lands, in between needing to get from objective to objective, to do a sort of quest line that is similar to every other quest line, then the game ultimately feels less unique because of it. Plus, with the game being as large as it is, it kind of does end up losing that replay value. So for me personally, I think that 40 hours is more than enough time when it comes to a single player experience for a game like this. But a game's replay value can only really be kind of determined by 1, its core gameplay, and 2, variety. If you give the player enough tools and weapons to really enjoy and immerse themselves in the game, then you most definitely do have a game with tons of replay value. And I think that has always generally been one of the stronger aspects of single player experiences. It's why I believe From Software games do so incredibly well. They give players a variety of different weapons and tools that they can play around with and use in the game same world. It's why multiple playthroughs are a really important thing when it comes to that genre of games. I mean, the most perfect example, as well as that of the most recent one, is Elden Ring, a game that has surpassed many people's expectations with the amount of variety and different options you do have at hand to kind of approach this game in a different manner. But how exactly does this translate to that of God of War? Well, currently, we do know that the Leviathan Axe and Blades of Chaos will be returning. We will still have the ability to give in to our inner fisticuffs. And we have two new shields at hand, the Dauntless Shield and the Stonewall Shield. Plus, let's not forget, the design philosophy of this game is play with your food, meaning that there will be a variety of tools that will allow you to approach this game. And with it having skill trees, different runic specials, armor sets, and abilities at your hands, we will have a ton of variety to play with once the game does release. And this is us not even touching on the possibility of obtaining Mjolnir or Gungnir. So God of War Ragnarok is really shaping up to meet the hype behind the last game's success. And with all the new tools at its fingertips, we can only estimate the amount of creative value behind subsequent playthroughs. But of course, this is all pre-release, so hindsight is 2020. But with each realm being designated to a different variety of enemies, I believe that will keep the game fresh and exciting. And this is us not even touching on the bosses, and possibly the secret bosses of the game, which typically are the best parts of each installment, as they are quite bombastic in design and the amount of destruction each battle does cause. So, knowing of the gods we will be going up against, we can only really imagine the amount of creative thought and design that will be going on behind each encounter. So with that being said, what do you think of the 40-hour playtime for God of War Ragnarok? You think it's enough time for a single player game with multiple playthroughs? Or did you expect a little bit more? Please do comments down below, as I'd love to hear what you have to say. Personally, as I've said, I'm very happy that it's 40 hours of playtime. I think that's just enough for a first playthrough experience. My only one worry at the moment is the game having New Game Plus. For those of you who don't remember, when the 2018 game did release, it did come out lacking that feature, which is something that, I'll be honest, really did hinder my experience of actually playing the game again. In fact, I stopped playing it for a few months because I didn't want to start again from a fresh save. So here's hoping that for God of War Ragnarok, they've learnt to correct their mistake by adding the New Game Plus feature in on release, making subsequent playthroughs that much more possible, and giving us all a reason to come back and replay the apocalypse of the 9 realms. But for now everyone, that has been it for me. If there's any more news, rest assured I will bring it your way. So as always everyone, stay strong, stay well, and keep on fighting, as Ragnarok is literally a month away. Take care everyone, I'll see you soon.